Out of the haze, everybody's in. Everyone I've talked to says it's extremely intense right now, as if it hasn't been, universe, but that's okay. We're loving it. I'll be right back in a minute, 19 seconds with our new friend, Angela Rose. Let me pull my head out of my ass. I am Soul, and that's just another way to say I'm not afraid to show my ass. And I just did for the 152nd time in the 9 years we've been doing Soulogy. We've got a beautiful, beloved sister. We just had a conversation. We violated the rules of SOULSPEAKS 5D, and we actually had a conversation, a short one, and it was necessary.
It was.
And I feel like this is going to be a very powerful show. So we might go about, our next show is not for an hour and 51 minutes. This is Angela Rose. She lives in Georgia, and in Georgia, down by Savannah, which is a happening place. Savannah is one of those places that if I lived there very long, I'd probably die. There's so much to do that gets an old wild ass in trouble.
Yeah, I was that when I got here. Yeah. We've been here for about 15, 16 years or so, but yeah, now it's just kind of, it's one of those things when everything's close to you. It's not, and actually my new departure point is going to the mountains where it's, a little bit more sacred to me. So
yeah, well, Savannah's very sacred. And that's the reason I say that is because, there's a combination of portal, opportunity or potential. And then there's just the stuff that, gets me in trouble, which is, the fun. Yeah, no, it's such a cool place too. And I'm pretty sure I'm not really caught up in all that, past lives and stuff, but because to me, it's just all code. And how do I know that, how do I know if I have a memory and, I wasn't just like a small fractal of that incarnation, you know what I mean? So
that's exactly right.
But, it's like, there's something about the Deep South that is like in my blood. Like I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, South Texas. So that's like the ass end of the bathtub of the Gulf of Mexico. Right. If you've ever been over there, you know what I'm talking about. But, so anyway, the thing is like, oh God, what am I trying to say? Somebody just popped in to the studio, but I think he's just checking for the next show. But anyway, what I was going to say is that, okay, so like from there all the way to Florida, like all the Gulf states, and then the like the Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. There's something about that. I've had so much recall from that area, and it's just like, like it's like a melting pot, like New Orleans. It's like a melting pot of cultural, all the different aspects of our journey. But yeah, I don't know. I had to say that, but I'm off balance, everybody, like y'all are. Don't tell me you're not. And,
yeah, that's right.
We do have a doppelganger in the house by the name of Angela Dwelly.
Angela Rose Dwelly.
Angela Rose Dwell, yeah. So yeah, it's good to have you here. I'm happy to be sharing space with you. And I think
Me
these two.
Too.
Yeah, right. So you're quite an interesting combination of fairy and looks like a little bit of I don't know what that is. That's some kind of galactic thing I've not seen. It must be off universe.
That might be a little new to me. The fairies definitely, definitely rocking.
Yeah, you got fairy all over you, man. You got wings coming out from the back of your head.
Aw.
So, yeah, here we go. So, I'm getting chills when you did that. So, I got a whole fairy community back here behind the house.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about you.
I got to see my first one the other day.
Did you really?
We went to Shasta, and I was sitting outside on the porch talking to the stars and everything, and just by myself. And I just looked over, and she was so precious, like this big-ish, and like white, translucent, and just these like glittery like wings. I'd never seen one like with my two eyes, which I can't promise that it was with my two eyes and I wasn't like interdimensional or something. Like that's kind of what it felt like, because as soon as I opened my mouth and spoke to her and stopped like telepathically speaking to her, gone. But regardless, I was like, heck yeah, man.
Yeah,
like, that was epic.
I swear, and I'm in the same boat as you are, right? Because I have seen, let's see, I saw a whole bunch of them up here in Arkansas 4 years ago. I went to the swimming hole in the middle of the night, and some crazy stuff happened. And so I went into the water, and there was all of these water nymphs everywhere, and they were all talking to me. And like, I was having this experience of like, I know you all, I'm like, yeah, we remember you.
Yeah. Like, hey.
But what I was going to say is, and then I saw a fairy, like I had like an episode like you did. The first night I stayed at this house in Florida, this beautiful lady gifted to us. And, but here, I haven't seen one like at that definition, but I see them out there. But about 2 weeks ago, and it was in the daytime, because there's like this riverbed right behind our house, and it goes down, and it's real thick. It looks like a forest. In fact, it's 5 acres. And so I looked, and I swear I saw an elf, and it was maybe about 16 inches high.
I love
and it was really kind of like a dwarf, like the dwarfs in Snow White. And I went, Morgan, I just saw an elf. And she's like, oh yeah, right. I'm sure that's what she was thinking. But then you go back and think about it, and you're like, did I see that with my third eye, or did I see that with my regular eyes?
Right. And I when I had first seen her, it was like, I was like, come here. But I wasn't saying come here. And she'd come closer to me. And then I spoke, and it was just like, nope. Like, I was like, well, okay. All right. Well, thank you. I guess I just needed to see you, and we needed to have that moment. But I feel them all over my yard. Everywhere. I feel them everywhere. But I talk to them just like I talk to my birds. I talk to my dogs, like take care of them. If they're around, leave them alone. I protect my yard, and but it's fun. It's fun.
There's some really strange stuff happening right now. Okay. This happened to me Sunday with Lori Ladd. So some stuff is coming in and I'm listening to you. And then there's this electronic stuff going on over here. I don't know what's happening. And then this number up here, I guess it's on the screen, says 31, but there's actually somewhere in the neighborhood of about 85 people in here and counting. So I'm just observing all this stuff, trying to stay.
3 and 1 is 4, so the angelics are here.
Yeah,
obviously. It's all good.
Angela's saying there's so much glitch in the video. Wow, this is trippy. And
my son plugged me into the thing, so. I am not technologically savvy, but I think it's the
No, you're good. You're good. Well, this is the same thing that happened with Lori Ladd the other day. And, it was, I just told her what was happening. So let's see where this goes. Now, all right. You look to be you're a lot younger than me. And
how do you know?
Well, you're what?
Like I've been age regressing for many a time. No,
have you really?
I'm doing my best.
33.
I'm 34. Yeah.
See, I'm good. So I'm 58.
Congratulations.
So congratulations. Yeah, no shit. If you knew how my life went.
I mean, it doesn't even matter anymore, right? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. In fact, it's What are we talking about?
We're just winging it.
So when did you wake up, or when did you reawake?
Reawake 2 years ago.
That's it. Wow. There's so many people. You know what? And thinking of Lori Ladd again, I think she was like 2017, if I remember from the first show we did. But there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that like 16, 17. I met a lady. We did a show about 3 or 4 months ago. Her name is, I think her name is Sar Ali. I think hers was 2018. She has a kid. The kid was her reawakening, like the kid's communicating with her. And I mean, so it doesn't really matter how long it's been. I mean, my wife's been awake for over 20 years. And, you know, it's just like, we're in a quantum field. So whatever's out there and available because of whoever's broken down these energetic doors, it's all accessible.
Yeah. And I mean, it just, for me, it came in quick. I actually, I got fired for the first time in my life from like my whole life career for absolutely no reason at all. And it would have, in my opinion, and this is what was like, what the hell is going on? Because he was just like, we're just going in 2 different ways. And I was just like, we sure are. And he's just like, do you need me to help you out? I was like, nope. I packed my shit and I hit the road. I went and got in my pool, grabbed me a bottle of rum, and sat there. And I went to YouTube and I pulled up Dolores Cannon, of all people, which when you hear across the board, there's a lot of people that listen to Dolores Cannon back in their beginning. Yeah. And I was hooked. I was like, I'm not doing nothing. I sat there the whole week, all day long in my pool, just listening to Dolores Cannon. And I was just like, everything's good. Like, are we okay? Hey, Morgan.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening. I was actually looking for my phone, but I don't seem to see it. I just wanted to see what it looks like because I saw somebody else made a comment. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Why are we worried about this stuff?
Let it go.
Just let it
right out the window.
So you're listening to Dolores Cannon for a week.
That's it.
I want to know, how many bottles of rum did you go through?
Just one.
Oh, that's it.
That was it. I was like, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. And I switched to wine because I am a bit of a wino. But
now we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that was what? 13 bottles of wine, 1 bottle of rum, 7 days in Dolores Cannon.
Couple songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, I listened to her, and then it all just kind of stemmed into a bunch of, listening to hypnosis videos and everything. And then I actually went to the Tampa gathering, the Alba Weinman one.
Okay.
And at that moment is when I kind of met a good chunk of like my physical soul family, and they helped me pretty much from there, at least knowing that I wasn't alone. But I mean, I was everything. I was listening to, how do you know if you're connecting to spirit? How do you know this? How do you know that? Like, I had no idea that I'm a channel, that I am a medium, for Pete's sake. Like, I could pull in whatever I want. Like, you know what I mean? And it was cute. And talking to these people, and they're like, I'm so-and-so. I'm a fractal of so-and-so. And so I was like, well, who the heck am I? And they're like, we don't know, but we know that you belong with us. I was like, shoot, yeah. I mean, it feels good. So pretty much just after that, and then we'll get some wine, Delia.
It's
Don't
Delia.
hold yourself,
Delia. She's part of the Soulogy team.
Well, that was like, that was maybe my country coming out, Delilah.
That's because you're from Georgia. From Georgia. Don't feel bad. I'm from South Texas, and I'm supposed to be 3/4 Mexican. They don't have a name in Spanish for Todd, so I was always called Tood.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. So somebody says, does it run in your family? I think she's alluding to your, quirkiness. No, I'm kidding. I think she's alluding to the ability to connect.
Not that I'm aware of, my parents, up until about a year ago, thought I was half nuts. But my mom always said, she goes, "Oh, la la," because that's what she'd call me. You always had ESPN, is what she said. You could,
ESPN.
She knew, like, I would know if she was fixing to call me, or I would know if, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Like, I know, I can feel her. I know I'm in trouble. That type of thing. And I get home and she'd be sitting there, tapping on her wrist. Realize she can't see that, but she told me that, and now she's, ever since my baby niece came, she'll be a year actually tomorrow. Yes, but she talked to me through the womb, and
that was my next question. So your niece, your brother or sister's, anyway, is talking to you through the womb. Like, was this before the trip to Florida? Was this like it was all around the same?
This would have been, it's all around the same. Everything was after Florida, but it all came.
Would you say that your niece was a big part of your reawakening?
She was a huge part of, like, my healing side, like my shamanic side, where my healing that I do and my own whatever. And I'll kind of briefly tell you that. So obviously my sister got pregnant, and I knew immediately, I knew when she was pregnant. She hadn't even told me yet. I knew she was pregnant. I knew it was a girl. I knew she was a fractal of Sophia. I knew, like, I felt all this Mother Earth energy coming from my sister's womb. My sister's not even close to awaken. And then we got to about the 4-month window, and she was put on bed rest and all of these things. Like, they were worried about, losing the baby, losing my sister, like all because of something was going on, like something similar to like placenta previa, kind of like a huge risk for that happening. So I was talking to the baby, and I'm like, can I help with this? Like, is there anything I can do? I want to help you. Cause she's like, help my mommy. And I was like, how do I help your mommy? Like, at this point I had no idea. So I had been watching some videos like on healing modalities and things like that. And I'm like, okay, at this point I've started pulling in, my higher self. I did know who I was, at least one fractal of who I was. And, this divine, feminine energy that was coming through my light language, and like, then like my native roots and all of this. So then I had a Mexican type Indian grandmother, like, figure that was one of my main guides. And
really?
Yes. And then I had the baby, and it was like, it's hard to explain, but it's like they came together and then showed me. So up until
the grandmother essence came with the baby. We have to back up a little bit. First of all, what did the grandmother essence have a name?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't ask names really. I just know they look like.
I'm actually curious for my own reasons, but anyway. And so what you're saying is, now let me ask you one question about the baby before we go to what you were saying. So you're going through this situation, and then at some point, all of a sudden, because the baby's in the womb of your sister.
Yes.
All of a sudden you hear or feel, or however your clairs work, the baby. Yes. Did you question that? And the reason I ask this is because this is happening to people now. And I think recounting these stories can help people, but so you didn't question it.
Not with her. No. Okay. And to be honest, I don't really question, as long as I feel first, but I feel here. I don't see really anything. I see. And then they put it all together, and I don't physically, like, even with my third eye, I don't see, I feel see. Okay. But I knew what she looked like. I knew what she smelled like. I knew that she was going to be a particular weight. Like, I knew everything was going to be fine. My sister's freaking out. So anyway, the baby comes through. I know it's the baby. But my sister lives about an hour away from me. So I don't get to see her as much as I'd like. But I had ended up, after she told me what the doctor said, and that they're really worried about a lot of things. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I was like, I'm going. So I go to my sister, and I feel her energy, because at that point I wasn't so like, the amount of my empathy, I guess, my empathic abilities were not where I was totally in tune at this point, like with other people. I could feel them. Like, that's actually the reason that I got fired, because it was actually a detriment on my body in the first place. And I didn't know how to let it go. I would just absorb. So anyway, I go to see my sister and I felt her pain. I felt her fear. I felt all of these motherly fears that were totally natural to fear, and especially when you don't really believe in anything that's supporting you and you just think, you know, you have to do it all and you're in full control, no surrender. And I felt that. So I had that was that. And that's all it took. That's all it took. So I keep communicating with the baby, and I'd always sit in meditation with her, and I'm like, just please show me. She's like, you'll figure it out. You can help me. You can help me. And I was like, I don't know how. But I was like, okay, well, I just got to let that go. I got to let that go. But, you know, I can't hold on to that and come into a place of like, I have to control this. I just want to do whatever it is from my heart for this baby that I can, and for my sister.
Right.
So it was about a month and a half later. So she was going for her, I think, 6.5 month checkup. And this was like the point where they were going to have to say, listen, bed rest, no sex, like, you can't even move or you're going to lose your insides type thing. So she told me that. She's like, I'm fixing to go tomorrow and I am just mortified. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so scared. It's like, okay. So I was like, I got to go. And I'm going to do everything I can. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I was just like, I love you. Bye. And so I sat there in my chair and I called in, and it was like second nature. I called in every higher self of every party involved. I called in source. I mean, everybody that it was anybody. I was like, come on, let's do this. And they just showed me for the very first time, like, how to visualize the body and how to feel what's going on inside the body, and to locate, okay, here's the error. Here's, you know, how it was created, and here's what we can do to fix it. And so I was like, I gave permission, you know, my sister's higher self gave full permission. She's like, absolutely. The baby was like, yeah. And then I just gave my hands. I just gave my hands, and I just felt in her, and it was so freaking cool. And I was like, okay. And then they're just like, you're finished. That's all you can do. Just send love. Just send love now. And I was like, okay.
Now, up to this point, I'm just, again, this is so valuable.
I hadn't done anything.
No, I'm just saying, but up to this point, for the benefit of people that are having experiences like this that don't have a lot to pull from.
Gotcha.
6 months into the pregnancy, you've been talking to the baby. Your sister, by your admission or whatever, is not awake. You're going into this thing. I can tell you probably don't keep much to yourself, so your family's getting the narrative the whole way.
Yeah.
And was there a point when you told your sister what was happening? Now the baby's almost a year old tomorrow. I mean, do you tell her what's going on? What does your family think about you? I would imagine you greased the wheels already, because you've got a pretty vivacious personality, and they're probably used to some craziness from you over the years. But bottom line, are you estranged from them? Did you go through any struggles? How's it going with your sister? And is the baby still talking to you?
What? Yes. Okay. Okay. So I told my sister about what I had done after she told me that she was going to have a normal birth and that she's not restricted on sex and she's good to go. I was like, well, the sex part's fabulous, because I mean, who wants to be pregnant and not have sex? But anyways, so I told her that, and she's just like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, cool. And the baby's like, fist bump, and we're good to go. So after that, my sister thinks I'm a kook, and she still thinks I'm a kook. She doesn't care. But I do have free reign over the baby. When I say that,
what do you mean?
That's when I go to see her, she loves the earth. And if it was up to them, she would stay inside and have clean hands and clean tootsies and all that jazz. Yeah. So I take her outside. I put her in the earth. with her little feet, and she loves it. And ever since she's been born, I take her to the trees because my sister lives in like out by, so Sunbury, Brunswick. If you know Savannah, it's just south. It's on the coast. They live on the coast. And they have all those live oaks, like the 300, 400, 500-year-old live oaks. Oh my God, they melt my heart.
That's a powerful area.
It's so fabulous. And this baby is here to wake all these people up. Like that is her jam. So ever since she was born, I take her to these trees, and I used to just put her hands up there. Well, now, like I said, she'll be a year tomorrow, and it's her little birthmas. But I will take her now, and she'll close her eyes, and then she'll just get into. You should see it.
She's home. That's her environment. She's a fairy like you.
She loves it.
Elemental.
So, but my mom actually was like, "I'm gonna take care of her, until it's time for daycare." Oh, and then, so she was fussy. And this was in the very beginning, after she was born. My mom called me and she said, "Angela Rose, what do I do with this youngin'? I don't know. She's fussy and nothing makes her happy." I said, "Well, where are you?" "Well, I'm in the house." "Do you have any windows open, any blinds, anything? Can she even feel the sun?" "No, and that doesn't matter." I said, "That's horse shit. Take that youngin' outside and go put her somewhere outside. Mom, take her now. Call me later." What? She's like, it fixed it. So her teething crystals she has around her neck help her. My mom, anytime she's fussy, now grandma's like, whatever that baby needs. She's like, call Auntie.
She's subscribing to ESPN now.
Yes, she is. But she's totally good with it. She's totally good with it. But no, other than that, like I have a connection with the baby. I protect her field. I'm besties with her higher self. When it comes to her immunizations, things like that, I will shield her from anything that doesn't serve her.
Has she explained to you what your relationship is?
I'm a guide.
Okay. So you're a guide. It's almost like vice versa too.
It is. We are. That's exactly right. And we're both cool with it. Because for right now, she's teaching me so many things, and I'm just watching what she's teaching everyone else. And I just think that's beautiful because she told me, she's like, "I'm going to wake them up. Like, they're going to be so much full of love and happiness."
Oh, my God. She's telling you that?
She told me that when she was cooking. It was fabulous. I remember. I was with my mom when she came through at that moment and said it. We were just leaving. I don't know what the heck where we were, but we were in Savannah doing something. And I was like, "Oh, Mom," I said, "the baby just came through," and she said that she's going to wake everybody up. And I said she did like this little jig, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
Your mom was like, "Oh my God, okay." Like, whatever. Yeah.
It was cool. But no, everybody else in my family, I mean, in the beginning, just like anyone, I wanted everyone to hear me. I wanted to scream it to the rooftops that there's more to this than what meets the eye, and that we just have to listen and be in our joy and have fun and love and, be supportive and just everything. And they're just like, "What? Who are you? And what happened to the 3D career woman that's so serious?" And I threw her out the window.
Well, and plus the time that it's happening. I mean, this last 6 months of quarantine or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, because when I went to Savannah, it was May 28th. Because I went straight from South Florida. I wanted to go to this RV park right on the beach, or right on the coast, and they were closed. I had to go stay at one in town. But what I'm saying is so this whole thing's been accelerating or happening. With the further, emphasis of it all from this quarantine, they're looking at you like you're crazy. But I would imagine, I'm not trying to be presumptuous, but under the circumstances that you're describing, that over the past 6 months, they're probably freaking out a little bit more than you are. And they're probably wondering, how can you be so calm and cool all the time? Do you get any of that?
I guess I did, but I'm very open with them. Especially like you said, you always say as of June, the energy's just been wonky.
Yeah.
We got to give a shout out to Bruce F. He's always on here. Seriously.
Bruce is, and you know what? I spent 4.5, almost 5 hours going through messages today, and I didn't even make it to the email. And I've asked him to come on a couple of times. I think where we left it last time was I dropped the ball. So we're going to get him on here because everyone's getting to know Bruce now. He's a big part of this.
He's very vocal.
He's a nut. He'll fit right in.
But no, as of like January 1, pretty much this year, because and I'll go ahead and throw it out there, meeting Ivan come last, August, September is when we were just like bam, 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 just trigger. So
dude, were you triggering each other?
Oh yeah, that all kind of just put everything like in full acceleration mode, having that.
And who did you connect with first? Ivan? For everyone that doesn't know, Ivan came on about, a week and a half ago? Good friend of Angela Joelle, and her husband.
Yeah, we both met in Tampa when we both were searching for our awakening.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Okay.
And then we were brought back around again because we didn't do anything in collaboration with, our energy. After that, they took us to another gathering and we're like, hey, you guys gonna like grow now or not? So, but anyway, that was so pretty much exactly a year now from then is when him and I just kind of were just like bam, 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 bam. He started light language and then within 2 days I was activated. And we both started channeling at the same time. And so we just channeled for each other. He'd help me because I started out trance channeling. And then I figured out I could do it without trancing and, all this stuff. So he would be my question person because I was like, I got my own way.
So
I don't know.
You guys were navigating it. You had someone to navigate it with. It was in a close proximity too. That's pretty cool. Because that doesn't happen very often. I haven't heard of that happening.
That was a blessing.
Yeah, most of the time there's a lot to be said for, being in a physical proximity because a lot of stuff goes down when that happens,
Heck yeah.
It's been our experience anyway. God, there's so much we could jump on here. So now what's the niece's name? Is it I know. I'm sweating like a dog over here. I don't know what else.
And I even got the AC unit on right next to me because I always am like
it's chill over here, and now I'm talking to you. I feel like I'm in the sun. It's like 112 degrees. So, what can you disclose the niece's name? First name?
Yes, that's baby Demry.
Demry, okay, Demry. What a cool name. So, has Demry? I mean, how often do you guys connect? Is it a daily thing? Is she like part of you, like joined at the hip, or what?
I can pull her in. I check on her all the time. But no, if she's not feeling well, if they're not listening to her, if she wants something and they're not doing it. But my mom is also very, very in tune with her. And my mom actually moved an hour and a half to live almost right there near her. So my mom will feel her now. And so she's already, her catalystness is just, it's going nuts.
So now are the parents receptive to the messages that you deliver on behalf of their daughter?
They will do it when it comes to her.
So they've got some ESPN.
Yes.
They're not arguing with ESPN. Okay.
No, they won't argue with my ESPN. Okay. So my brother-in-law is the one who really is like, no, Angie's a witch and blah, blah, blah. And that's why my sister won't play into any of this. But he even thanked me after her big shots. I think it was like, I don't know what month it is, but it was one that she had to get more than normal. And he called me and said, hey, can you do what you do to her? I was like, already on it there, Chief.
You know what? Maybe you should just, say, I'm coming for a visit. If you don't align with what's happening and support it, I'm going to come in and twinkle my nose like Bewitched, and God knows what's going to happen to you.
Right. I was like, how can you even, I don't know.
So is the baby offering any type of collective intel? Like, hey, I'm part of a ground crew here. We're the new kids on the block. We're going to kick ass. We're going to wake everybody up. Or, this is happening or this is coming or anything like that? Or is it all kind of like in the personal circle?
I haven't asked and no, I haven't got anything.
Okay.
She's a bundle of joy. But she's also, like, there's an old wise woman locked in this little baby, and she's so freaking cute. But just the way that like her energy is, and like she'll look at you, you just know, like, just any day she's just gonna open her mouth and be like, why haven't you been listening to me about so and so? And I don't know, but no, I can ask her. That would be something. I'll do it.
I was just curious. I was just curious because I have come across in the work I'm doing several situations like this. In fact, I met with one couple when I was down in South Florida. They came by, and it was, they're probably like 30, they're your age, like 32, 33. And they had a normal life in California. They had the house, the boat, the business, the whole 9 yards. And the baby started talking to him. His name is Ocean. Started talking to the mother and started telling the mother, hey, I'm coming. I'm not getting vaccines. I'm not going to school. Quit your job. Sell the boat. Get something we can sleep in while we travel because we're hitting the road. And
I love it.
It's never stopped. And this kid's, I think, about a year and a half now. And he is like, I met him, man. He's like, he's like a universe. And then I met my first grandchild a few months ago while I'm in Florida at the same time, go figure. And I sit down, I swear I'd never change another diaper. And, my daughter was getting ready for work and the two roommates were like, I'm not touching him. And he's on the bed and like, and I'm like, okay, man, let me try it. I had 6 kids, so I had some practice. And I was like, as soon as I got to him, he stopped. And he looked at me, and he just, like you said about her, he just looked at me, and I was like, holy shit. And he's like, we've had a couple of lives together on a couple of planets. I need you to give my mother a message. And just kind of like you got. And so, I mean, there's a lot of this going on. In fact, one of those ladies that I was talking about that woke up in early 2018, as a result or in tandem with her baby, the baby was the impetus, the catalyst for her awakening. Mm-hmm. So, wow. Big stuff happening. And these kids they're
oh my God, they're amazing. Like, I think the best thing is, okay, so my kids, I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and pretty much, I mean, we're exactly a year almost to the date now, with my light language. And I used to, they would hear me outside. I'd send, a healing or a blessing or something like that. And they'd walk out the door, just open it enough to be like, oh, no. Okay. Mama's being a gypsy. She's being a gypsy again. Okay. So I'm going to go back in the house. Well, we went down to the Springs this last weekend in Florida, and I took them kayaking. I'm like, I got to go be with the earth. Like, I just got to go. Let's go. And y'all do too. It's good for you. And they're like, all right, Mama. So I'm out there and I get like back in these like mangroves and everything. And I'm just going to town. I mean, I'm touching it and I'm just like, yes, I'm bringing it all in. I'm talking to them, like screaming at the top of my lungs in joy. And my son's like, just sitting there, just kind of looking. And my daughter, she's like, Mama, what are you even saying to them? And I'm like, I'm just telling them how much I love them and I'm supporting their growth and just telling them that they're supported and I appreciate them. And she's like, well, that's nice of you. But they're just sitting there patiently. Like, it's not abnormal for me to just deviate and go and like, ooh, I want to go hug this tree or sit in this piece of dirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yes, that's talking to me. I'm going there. They'll just wait, but it's not, they don't call me names anymore. They don't laugh or they don't chuckle. But Warren's girlfriend, same thing. She'll come around with us. She's used to it. We'll all sage. They used to be like, it stinks. Now they're like, hey, Mama, can you come sage my room and protect my face? And I'm like, yes, I want to do it anyway. But
what about like your extended family and your other family members and like your mom? I mean, do you just pop out and do it anytime you want to?
Yes. I'm sovereign.
There you go.
If you don't want to listen to it, then, I mean, there's the door. You're in my space. Like,
That's right. Very cool.
It is.
God, this is amazing. So you're connected to Ivan and Angela and Johnny. Is it Johnny? I'm so bad with names.
Johnny, yeah.
Johnny. Oh my God, he was cool. He was
so
cool.
Him.
They're all cool. You're all cool. And like, that's something I've noticed. You're talking about, that I always remark about June 1st. which, by the way, I think that period's coming to an end as of now. I think 9/11 is based on everything I'm picking up here, and my wife's, obviously she's like a weather vane, like a cosmic weather vane.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, one of the things I've noticed is that there's like a coalescing, like a congealing of energetic cells of people.
Yes.
And in many cases, they have a physical proximity or they have a visit, like Ivan did with Angela and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just seeing more and more. But we're about to go to Sedona, and I just was telling Morgan about an hour ago, I said, man, because I heard from another friend, I'm working my messages, and it's, spurring my memory back, because the 3D memory is to shit now. And I'm like, wow, there's like 15 people I can count that are going to be going to Sedona at the same time we're going.
Yep.
You just can't make this stuff up. There's something going on. Yeah.
Well, and it's all being strategically placed. For like me and Ivan just got back from Shasta, and there was like 12 of us, and they were all different. Like, to me, it was like different types of energies, but all and nothing. And that's what I say all the time is, I don't care if you're not awake. I don't care if you are, if you have fully mastered this or this or this. It don't make a hill of beans to me, because everyone has their particular energy sequence that is required in a particular space at a particular time to make something happen. And that's how it was with our group. It was me and 2 other ladies, and I'd known them just, talking online, but not when you go and you share a big house with these people. But the divine feminine anchoring and just oh my gosh, I had stuff come out I seen, and I was like, I had this uber mom energy. I mean, I freaking hurdled this chick, and I seen something in her belly, and I was like, oh hell no, that's gotta go. That was some old childhood wound, and she was screaming for it to leave her, but didn't even know it was there, And so I'm like, but just stuff like that. I don't know these people, but I love them so much, and I love everyone. You know what? Yeah. You know exactly what I mean. It's just, my heart is so full, and just bring it on. I don't care what it is. Let's just
right. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
I just dig it.
I mean, this is time. I mean, it's crazy. It's moving so fast. It's just crazy. It really is.
And how about, okay, so and I know exactly what you're talking about with the energy in June, but look at it now.
I know.
And okay, so manifestation is instant.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And my thing, okay, so I had to clear a bunch of my own personal burdens before I could go to Shasta. And because I had work I had promised myself and I was going to do there, and I couldn't take that with me. So, I was like, holy smokes. I had just finally, my friend Annette is actually on here, and she's huge mentor supporter for me. But she called me and she's like, hey, you got some shit going on and you need to get rid of it. You've been holding on to it for too long. And I was just like, I know. All right, I'll do it. Did
you know what it was?
If
you would have pursued it,
it would have taken me a lot longer if it wasn't for her saying hey.
But you knew something was.
Oh yeah, I felt like shit.
I guess what I'm saying is there's a reason I'm asking. So you kind of knew it was there. You just didn't look at it. Had you looked at it, you probably would have accelerated it. The revelation or whatever. But did you have an idea of what it was that you weren't dealing with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the reason I'm saying this is because one of the things that's happening too, it seems, is that there's, what is it? What am I trying to say? Playtime is over.
Yes.
If you want, and I'm not knocking anybody. I swear to God.
Well, it ain't our job. We got to do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. We're all on the same trip. There's plenty of information out there, whether you want to talk conspiracy, disclosure, the eternal soul, modalities, whatever the case is. There's enough information out there if you've been hanging around in these circles in particular. But if you want to play in the muddy kiddie pool, that's fine. But don't ask me to go with you.
No.
And so now what I'm trying to describe is part of this new energy. It just seems like it's really starting to become embodied. And that's where, I can think of a couple of examples in my life recently. And one of the people, I say to myself, that person knows. That person's just not dealing with that. And then the other person I know actually doesn't know, like a childlike, doesn't know.
Right.
And and I'm only using that as a comparison to get some context going here. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we're not being allowed to perpetuate the old bullshit anymore, because it is to thine own self be true. It is physician heal thyself. It is, what goes around comes around. It is put your big girl panties on. It's time to rock and roll, right?
Suck it up, buttercup. Cause that's exact. I love you, by the way, because that is exactly what I was fixing to say, just in not such a good way like you did. Because my words
we're both in the deep south. We're going to have to connect somewhere out there, and maybe in the Delta.
Whatever.
The Mississippi Delta. Go out there with the nature beings.
Heck yeah.
Alligators.
No, that's the whole thing, and but I love it. Like when you express and you just let it out. Like I'm integrating and clearing so much wonky stuff right now. But it's like 1, boom, 2, boom, 3. It's just like keeps coming in. And as soon as you even get to a place that you're like, oh, okay, there's the light again.
Yeah.
Bam! You also left this. Hey, don't forget about this. Knock, knock,
Yeah. I've been saying that for years, Well, they told me this on the streets, I started my first couple of years around the streets. And so I did a lot of walking. I was homeless. And so we was always communicating. And they'd always say, don't make excuses, don't lie to yourself, and don't blame anything external.
Right.
And by the way, you did a great job today. Ascension on a scale of 1 to 10, you hit 10. And I'm like, wow, right. And I wake up the next morning and say, hey, guess what? 10 is now 1, and there's a new 10.
That's right. Yeah.
You're like, what the hell?
You went to the end of first grade, but where are you trying to go again? Like you went to your doctorate? You got a long road to road to go. But it's fun. It's fun. I mean, like I was telling, Annette and Ivan and Angela, like everybody helps everybody. And that's what, on Facebook and this, like, it's so beautiful because really no one has even the excuse anymore to say, I'm alone. I don't have anyone, blah, blah, blah. All you got to do, like I added somebody today that asked somebody else to be her friend because she needed, someone to help her. And I was like, add, what's up, girl? Like, hold on. Let me just feel you real quick. Make sure you're not going to siphon me dry. But, it's like that. Like we're coming out in droves. Like my husband is awake since November, like this past November. Yeah. And holy smokes. I mean, it's like they skipped an entire section and just went straight into their knowing and their power
That's the thing. That's the thing with this quantum field. I mean, these words get thrown around. So it's like they lose some of their meaning. But like twin flames and like quantum and just stuff like that. But you can feel it. You can feel it, and one of the things is the information's moving so fast.
Right.
You just. I think that's another part of the being in the proximity of somebody is that you pick up stuff back and forth. You immediately pick stuff up that you're not even conscious of, and which is also the same for these downloads this year, particularly this summer. It's like they come in like boom, And like before you can even get up off your feet, another one hits you and another one hits you. And you're like, oh my God, all this information I'm getting, I need to share it. I need to do something with it.
Right.
And then by the time you get your head on straight, you can't even remember what it was.
Nope.
You just know that whenever you need it, it's going to come.
That's right. I mean? It's like this new encyclopedia just dropped in your backpack and automatically, into your spinal column or something. I don't know. But I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Angela keeps getting kicked off like you did when our show was on.
Yes, I would only hang with you guys for like 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds, they would kick me out.
That's crazy. And if anyone's having that problem, I don't know if it's going to alleviate the problem because, I think we're talking about energy that's starting to really physicalize. Because I have really noticed especially over the last few months, when there's technical problems, it's always a very strong connection between me and the other person, right? And everyone that's contributing, comprising this vortex. But you can watch it on YouTube, Soulogy One Studios channel, live, or you can watch it on these Facebook pages, mine, Soulogy One Studios. But I would imagine if you're having a problem on Facebook, you're going to have it on any of the pages.
Right.
Just so people know. Oh, wow. This is cool. I'm digging it. So, and like, what do you think it's going to look like in 3 months? Have you got?
I don't know. But I don't care either because
true.
Hey, you know what? It's not going to be the same in 5 freaking minutes because that's how it is. Like, you know what I mean? And maybe I don't know. It can't be just me, but like I was just. Like every time you clear something new or you experience something, which the energy is so supportive of all this newness. Like I don't even think people and you've been awake forever. I mean, a long time, longer than me.
Yeah. Well, but no. I mean, yeah.
Is this energy now anywhere close to the linear time of 5 years ago? Heck no. Like
5 years ago, tried 5 months ago.
That's what I'm saying. 5 minutes tomorrow, it's something new. Like the skies. How about the skies? Like,
yeah.
Maybe I just never. There's no way that I never.
No,
I could not have been,
it's even the clouds. Let me just throw this part in there too because I put this up earlier. But wait a minute. I'm trying to get to. Let me pull my head out again. So we've had today. So we usually get things early. And most of the time when there's a big gateway opening, it's after midnight on the day, but that we get it, that we get something. It'll happen. It'll come through embodied, And so, number one, she's been talking about 9/11 for several months, I think about a year and a half. I don't know what it is, Todd. There's something going to happen. Boom, 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 boom. Other people have said that. I mentioned it the last couple of days. People said, man, I keep seeing 9/11.
Yes.
And then today, so like last night was crazy, man. It was just like walking into dimension. Mm-hmm. I ended up staying up till around 5 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I didn't get up till 1:20. Which is not like me. I can sleep late sometimes, but not that late. And I was like a zombie, and she's been like a zombie. So we talked a little bit. I was doing work. But right before this show, I guess she went downstairs and she muscle tested, right? She muscle tested, and she said the words that she was getting was time going wiped. Like that seems to be, we've talked about it in these circles, and it sounds kind of cliche. Oh, we're not linear anymore. There is no time, la-di-da, But like I think exactly like a reset. And it's like now it's actually happening. Yes. Like that's a reality. Like they talk about soft disclosure when they're regarding conspiracy stuff. Like we're going to let you know a little bit now and a little bit later because you're just not mature enough or smart enough to deal with it. Fuck you. This is not the real disclosure is us. And I think the universe is working with us and letting a little bit out at a time. But I really believe that Rory just said, the official end of the time loops. I feel like it's the clock and the clock goes like this and then stop. And now it's going the other way.
Right.
And the other way, it's not going to run on the same math that we've been running on. It's going to run on multidimensional. Right. Yeah.
But that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, because, look at all the little things. Memory. Oh, my name of y'all. I can't remember 5 minutes ago. Like, I don't know. Like, you said, I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. But memory, just your vibration, like your connection with people, the like you've been saying, is like the telepathic connection is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I just feel like it's any day now. Like we're just going to stop needing to talk because it's
I agree.
Like, hey, I was just going to say that. Like I was telling you when you messaged me about bumping it at the time, I was in the shower and I was like, holy shit. I was like, what if it's going on right now? Like I had like this anxiety, like I didn't read the right time, like it was supposed to be 4, and that you were yelling at me somewhere, like, hey, where's she at? Where's she at? Well, in reality, you had just messaged me asking me to bump it out, you know, whatever, and that I'm the right person.
There you go. There
you
go.
I felt you, and I've never even talked to you before. And I literally, like, you know, put my hair up, wrap my towel. I had to check my phone for my own curiosity, but I knew that there was something, like I thought I'd missed something, which I did. I missed your message. But obviously for me, it jumped first to I missed the time because I'm Eastern, you're Central, I think. Aren't you Central?
I'm Central, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
But,
so let's see what Morgan's adding to this. She says, I was shown that what happened was going to be undone. 0 pointed for a reset, which includes all of our energy attached to the 9/11 event, personal and planetary reset. So that was 2001.
Yeah.
Which is interesting too, because it's 19
years ago. 1 plus 9.
Yeah, which is a 1, which is new beginnings. Yeah. But anyway, because I remember this started happening. She started pulling this stuff in a few weeks ago. And one of the things that happened, which is what I was just going to say off of what you said, but let me explain. So when that happened in 2001, what she pulled down was everybody immediately went into love and light. You know, they went into empathy and sympathy and love and light, and that's how it started. And then from there, it evolved to, hey man, that doesn't make any sense, to, you know, anger and you know, suspicion and cognitive dissonance and all the BS that came from it.
Right.
But what she had pulled down was now, as it's being reset, there's like, and I don't know if it'll be an actual event or just the energy, you know, but that, let's just say it were to happen again, that it would go backwards. It would go from, hey, that's bullshit, false flag, whatever the case is, that type of consciousness, to eventually love and light. You know, so it's backwards, which I think is a great metaphoric, energetic example of. Oh,
it is. Well, look at it like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said, and that's, no, I'm just saying that seems, and that's what I was going to say before I read that, after what you were saying, like, okay, telepathy is a given, no time is a given, the memory, the 3D memory is gone. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to schedule shows because it's not going to function in where we're going.
Right.
But the other thing is we can't, we always have free will, but it's almost like we're not being allowed to sit on the pity pot. We're not being allowed to play in the muddy kiddie pool. We're not being allowed to dip down and come down in frequency, to play and bathe and swim in those waters anymore. Like the wounded healer is gone.
Right. Yes.
No
yes.
more. Right.
And the other part to exactly what you just said is we're not allowed, but we don't allow it. Like we are the decision maker. And if it's something within us that's not addressing it, the universe, which is us, is coming in to make sure that we're addressing whatever we're trying to hide from, or that, you know, we're not being truthful, or whatever it is. Like, everything is full circle. So whatever, we might as well, you know, just go. And it's hard, but we are all in support of each other, and that we have all of them that are right here with us. They're right here. And there's so many loving hearts that are willing to help everyone, you know, and it's that, you know, being in that 5th dimension. And if it is your will to be in that 3rd dimensional, you know, reality, like I ended up going back to work because now I know I need to be with these people. Like I work in the car business. I have to keep it, you know, where there's some love in there. Cause otherwise it's just, ugh. but I know how to control and monitor. I hate the word control. I'm sorry, self, but monitor my own energy now, where I don't have to take it and sit in it like I used to and let it hurt my body. But the same thing, if we want to do something, we just do it, but we need to be aware of every present moment, present moment. And if you get a thought in there that's crazy or not love, I mean,
not love. Yeah.
Well, if you get the thought it's crazy, do it by all means. Yes. But
well, I mean, that's the
anything. Just address it now. Don't wait, because it's going to change in a few minutes.
Yeah, true. I think we just, another way to say it is, I think we have just entered the no bullshit zone.
Yeah.
Like we can no longer, we just can't do it. We don't have a choice. Integrity, sovereignty, it's a reality. We're like in the minority now. Or now the old school is in the minority. And that's what I was getting yesterday and on these past couple of days with these shows was that the truth frequency, the crazy people, whatever, they were in the minority. It's like your family thing. That's a microcosm of the whole thing.
Right.
So if let's just say that all of you, all those people that you've been mentioning, you were all in a house and there was a big fucking tornado coming, you know what I mean? Energetically, regardless of what their position has been, including your brother-in-law. And you're in one of those moments of what do we do? Who do we follow in this case? It would be the crazy one. It would be the one. And what I'm saying is this is now, maybe it's not a majority in terms of individual people, but I think energetically, it's a vast majority of the consciousness. And it may be represented by a strong minority of people or souls. But, and I think it's also moving very, very fast. That's why I think a lot of these prognostications and forecasting that some of these people do that have been incredible, they're blowing up. They're going up in smoke, because what we thought might take 10 years can take 10 days at this point.
Yeah. And I give it to the guides, seriously, like in the channels that were bringing in information, about a year ago about the event and all this other jazz. When you're talking free will, the ability to manifest, are how epic we actually are, which, who the heck knew then, and then, and then before that. But now it's just like with who and what we are and our amazing ability to do all these things. And then you have all the energy in support. It's just like a blown up ball of fun,
I don't
let the judgment go about. They said, August of 20. Who gives a shit?
That's right. Imagine this. So you have the living history. You have the Akashic. Every one of us came in. Every one of us contained that, regardless of our DNA, forgetting, memory wipe, all that shit. So we come into this situation. It isn't the first time. It's not our first rodeo. And so you have that cosmic wisdom, that sacred wisdom. And now we go back and jump in the pool again. And but there's a difference, because I think in the equation, so you got Akashic plus the experiential, the living, the incarnations,
right?
The wisdom that we've gained through all this perceived pain, suffering, and bullshit. And then you have an equal sign, and this is the new template.
Right.
I think the one thing you can't factor, and this is why I don't think the universe knows how it's going to go. I don't think, because we've had many people come on the show that connect, and I'll be like, they can't believe y'all came this far, this fast, and they have no idea where you're going. We're just sitting on the edge of our chair waiting to see how this is going to go. Because I think the one thing you can't measure is coming into awareness is one thing. Oh, I am God. Yes. Yes, I have magic. Yes. But to come into the awareness with the wisdom of the experiences that we've had, those memories are going to light us up, because we're going to be like, oh yeah, all this stuff, we did it. Now we're going to kick ass and take names, now we're going to ride our unicorns to work or whatever, go have dinner on Venus and be home in time to watch, Outlander at midnight with my wife, whatever the case is. But I think that's what you can't measure. You can't measure this. It's the present moment.
That's right.
Awareness in the present moment. as a human with one incarnation, that's one thing. But as a multidimensional being, we're having these memories coming in, and the whole thing is available. Where do you want to, going through the cosmic Dewey Decimal System, like you do at the library, look up what you want, and there you are. I mean, this is mind blowing.
It's awesome.
It's mind blowing. Yes.
That's what I dig. It is just, it's awesome. And it's, wow. I mean, my question is, how the heck do people that aren't awake, are we really all just hiding out there where they just can't, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. But I know everything's for a reason, and they have to go on their journey, and, it can't, I guess it all can't be a bunch of, I don't know.
Well, from our perspective here, it's going to be flawed, and because even when you get something, when somebody gets something from up there and then they turn around and write a post or do a video, you're already going to lose something, because as soon as the mind starts coming in, then you have those little, it's just the truth.
Right.
But if you look at, free will was first exercised when we chose to come here.
Yep.
And when we set up our templates. So some people may just say, I want to stay asleep the whole time. Or we could all be just shitting on ourselves, and the reality is we're all at the same frequency. It just doesn't look that way.
Right.
So who knows? And I'm with you. Who cares? Who cares? Well, I'm in for the ride, man. We came this far. I want to live here at least another 800, 900 years.
Shoot, yeah. I can't wait. Like, I looked at some Facebook post today, and it was a bunch of deer and, like, a fairy in the corner, and there was a unicorn off in the distance, and, like, it was, like, live animation. I was like, oh, yes. All I need is my tree house and my slide, and it's on. Like, I just want to live in a tree and grow some stuff. Like, out in Shasta, that was cool. Never been there before. Never been in that kind of a place. Holy smokes, did I connect, and it was beautiful. But the lack or the not needing food, that was unbelievable to me. Like, now
that's been a weird thing happening too, right? Like last night I got up, and I have been known at times to get up at night and go right, but last night was different. So I got up. Well, I couldn't sleep, so I got up, and I thought, well, I'll eat a sandwich, so I had a sandwich. And then I'm on the couch, like, watching videos, 4:00 in the morning. And all of a sudden here, go eat something else. I'm like, dude, I just ate, so then I go eat something else. And then I went back for a third helping. And each one of them were a full dinner, basically, or a big lunch. But then there'll be times, and I'm like, man, I sure would like to eat something. And then I'm like, I can't. I just, this is like the furthest thing away from my, I just can't do it. So there's something going on with that. Like we're being retooled. Or recalibrated or something.
Yes.
I can't.
Yes.
And again, I'm with you. I love your attitude of who cares, because, getting caught up in the programs of ascension, like you got to be a vegan, you got to sit out in front of the sun,
all
you got
these
to drink. I don't think it works that way. I think, my wife, we've been cohabitating, without interruption now for well over a year, and she drinks chocolate milk and milk, man. Like some days it's like, did you eat? No, but I had like 5 glasses of chocolate milk. Like, how do we know what our necessities are? It's probably tied to our DNA, tied to our lineage, who knows?
But okay. And that's always just really rocked my boat, because so a lot of people do get wrapped up in the rules, and you have to be a certain way. And if your body says okay, and you ask and you get does it make you happy? That's what my body says, because I'm a foodie. I drink wine.
You're from the South, man.
I don't want flowers. Shoot,
I love butter. I love butter. So I'm like I cook like you do. Everything I cook, I put a stick of butter in.
Bacon grease on my stovetop as my fat source. So this is real talk. And I have been told before by someone who teaches a bunch of people that if you eat meat and you eat sugar and you do this, you'll never connect to your higher self. And I was just like,
yeah.
You just listened to me channel for the last however long in awe and never heard such whatever. What? Like, I had a cheeseburger before I got here. What the hell is wrong with you? And I'm about to go buy her some cookies because you just shit in her waffles. Like, who the hell do you think you are?
I love the way you just,
she can't have sugar.
I love what you said about, I'm talking about somebody that teaches a lot of people.
I can't say her name, but
no, I know, I'm good. I got to tell you firsthand experience, someone that teaches a lot of people. Okay. I just happened to, go for a visit and so one closet was just like cookies, candy, just like, it looked like, like a junk food, couch potato, delicatessen, man. But yeah, I mean, and I think there's no doubt in my mind that there's more power in being raw, being real, and having no bullshit at all. If I want to go eat a hot dog,
I love
I'm going to go eat a hot dog. If I want to go swim naked under the moon at the swimming hole, I'm going to do it. Yeah. But I think there's so much, that's such a healing frequency, and yeah, we all want to help, and oh yeah, but I helped this person. We're not wounded healers anymore. You want to help? Light yourself up. Align yourself. Illuminate yourself. And
they need a hug.
Serve yourself.
Yeah. Right? No, that's exactly right. But
in the new way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we all are so strong. Nobody gets to say anything about anyone, period. Right. Like there's not, like, I've even been getting from my team. It's like, when you want to help someone, like, just be there. Like, just give them that physical being for them to talk it through themselves. And that is my biggest thing, is like just the level of importance coming from expression in itself, from self. You'll answer your own questions. You already know. And as soon as somebody steps in to say anything, that person on the other end's like, I know. I know. I heard that when I said it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, so it's almost like, telepathy is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Higher selves recognition is coming in, but it's still, as many people have said, my wife has said for years, you have to embody it. And I think where I was getting at with that part of the equation that you can't measure, like what kind of power does an individual carry when they go, oh, wow, this is who I am, and I've been through all of this. Now let me create consciously. Like, I don't think we even understand that there's no way to, because it's never happened before. And I'm not with this everything happened at the same time. Like, okay, kind of, yeah, but you know what? I'm present here. There's a reason for it. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, there is, so for instance, like with what you're saying, if I pick something up and I look at the news feed and I see you make a post, and oh wow, and I get your energy, I'm like, oh man, she's going through the shits right now. I can sit here, I can take a moment, an eternal moment. Mm-hmm. I can direct myself consciously, what I used to think was just my physicality, which I just used to think was my non-physical self, or what I didn't know about it. I'm sending great vibes to you.
Yep.
Well, I'm actually, what would my higher self be doing? My higher self would be sitting there with you. My higher self would be holding space with you. My higher self would be sharing code with you. So it's almost like we're pushing a higher level of telepathy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's coming to pass through the fact that we've done this in the physical.
Yes. Because the person on the other end, so me being the receiver, if I am in my space, right, that most beautiful space when we can feel everything, and we're not in our own way, we're not in our ego, we're not in whatever was, I was looking at, or that was causing me to feel a certain kind of way, because there's a reason it made me feel like that. But if all of that was a blank canvas and I was just sitting there, I could then there's no way that you could tell me I wouldn't feel you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel you, because I felt you today.
Yeah.
Just you saying, hey,
Well,
I'm
I
going
just
to
want you to
message
know,
you.
I didn't peek while you were in the shower. I was standing
It was
outside.
in 3 rooms away from me. I had it on the charger because it was almost dead. So, but no, that blew my mind a little bit. And I'm like, oh, snap. Like, this is what's up, you know?
Let me just say something real quick. We're almost on an hour and a half. You can go another 8 minutes. You good? I'm going to have to take a break after this show for 20 minutes till the next one. Shaz Hargreaves. Mm-hmm. I just want to say to her, she came in, like a lot of people are coming in, to support Soulogy on an organic level. I have not even had the 3D wherewithal to send her a message. I'm not going to apologize for transforming and evolving and losing my 3D, but I just want to say to Shaz, thank you so much for coming in and taking over working with the other admins to take over the group and manage the group. I know it's a lot of work because I did it for years, and I just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Aw.
Thank you for letting me share that.
Appreciate you, sister.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've had her. She's been on the show before. We have to get her on again soon. She's got a hell of a story. Hell of a story, man. I love these, especially, I want to say especially these women. The ones that have gone down to the depths, you know, and they don't even talk about it. They don't even get caught up in the story. They've been down to the shitter, and they've converted and transformed. And you were talking earlier about your experience and how it started, and how this divine feminine goddess essence came in and, you know, leaped over some chick and went to work on her and all that. Have you experienced recently, I'm curious, have you experienced your divine masculine at all? And I'm talking about, of course, internally.
Yes. That was probably towards the beginning of the year. But yeah, the feminine's back and raring to go. But there's a lot of work, and that's like mad kudos to you, because when you give like how you do, even like, cause you give the feminine props, but you also say, listen, like the men are also standing up and standing in their power, but that is such a necessity. Like that's that balance, and everybody pulling in what they, you know, holding their own, and us working together to do what we need to do, because it is very important. Like, and the internal balance, you know, and realizing that all of it is okay, but deal with what you got to deal with so we can be internally balanced and move forward together. Like, it's so important. But just, you say it a lot on your shows, you know, about the divine feminine, and it's usually the women and blah, blah, blah. However, the men that are coming out, like, rock on.
Yeah. And you know, we pulled out some crazy stuff these last 10 days. We've gone through some crazy stuff, and I've talked about it on the shows, and I'm not going to go through it all, but I'm going to make a point. Right. And so we had this one of many, you know, but we had this one episode, and actually we've had now 3. So with the second one was very intense. I turned into my feminine. She turned into her masculine. I think you might have heard it. And we watched the cosmic copulation of her masculine and my feminine as the bodies were feeling it. It was quite confusing at times. And it again happened like 2 nights ago. And it was almost like man and man and androgynous. Oh my God, it's just like crazy. But I rarely talk when we put our hands together. She's the channel, boom, which it seems to be the way it is. I've talked to couples. The female is a transmitter. And so we put our hands together, boom, she starts doing her thing. And, you know, all of a sudden I said, and I probably talked literally 1% of the time when we channel. And I said, I got to say something. She could not find her masculine until he found his own. Mm-hmm. He could not find his own until she stepped into her power and said, I'm in the no bullshit zone now. If you want to join me, you're welcome to. So now he comes up and he completes the circle, which in essence she already has as the feminine energy within herself. Once he completes the circle of his own masculine, She then's able to complete hers. And then guess what happens? He turns into a woman, and now the tables are turned. No, but I guess what I'm saying is, to your point, and what's really came in through her is, and I think it's like 2 nights ago, it was like she can't do it without him.
No.
And this is the way it works. And so although it sounds like there's a sequential chronological order to it, the reality is that it all happens at the same time in some weird multi-level, faceted, dimensional way.
Right. And, but there is a speed difference. Like, yes,
absolutely.
If you are going, I know exactly what she's talking about. Exactly what she's talking about. And thank you for the way you expressed it, the way you just did, because I think you're going to make some sense. But yes, it's when we're on, I don't know how to even, you did such a great job, but I thank you for that. That was exactly the explanation that I needed to be able to make sense in my life.
Well, see, and I think this is how it works. This is why I love doing this show, is because there's two people, right? Normally, there's two people, and it's a conversation. It's not and I'm not trying to make it different. I'm just saying that to me, it's energy. So it captures everything. Right. Like even with Soulogy, people for 9 years, they said, well, when are you going to write the book? And when there's no doctrine, there's no dogma. And I followed this early in the early part of it, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to write a book, and it never would happen. And I guess what I'm trying to say, what I was being told and what I was being shown was it's an energy. That's it. It's just an energy, and you're just trying to mirror the universe itself, just like as we are mirrors of it. And yep. I'm like just paraphrasing, like, how do I do that? And they're like, get the fuck out of the way. Just let it flow. So yes. we've never had, you got to answer 6 questions to join this group, or we've never had like massive censorship. We're very, very few people. If you want to come in and advertise and blow your own horn, we might let you do it once or twice. If you want to put stupid stuff up, but very rarely do we pull stuff out. And I guess right. I'm saying this because you can't divorce yourself from any part of the universe. It only makes sense. Keep adding the frequencies, embracing them, transform what you're uncomfortable with. You're not losing it. And this is where we're at now. And yep. and I think it's enough of it's been embodied that these types of experiences are not unique to Morgan and I. It's out there. And some people go through it the way we did, and some people do it in dream state. Some people do it in dimension. So, but something's definitely changed. It's just
for real. This one little thing. I know you got to scoot so you can get some whatever before your next thing, but
hot dog.
Cold by chance?
No, I wish I had some. I'd go get.
I'm a cold hot dog kind of cat.
I can do it too, man.
But I can't do it just with any hot dog. Though.
The cold hot dog on white bread with ketchup. That was my staple as a kid.
Bologna with butter and a piece of cheese in the middle. Right, smash it down.
I can bologna with anybody, man. I'm a bologna fanatic, man. But I don't buy it. It's okay to eat it, but I eat the whole roll, man. I can't do it.
Shoot! See, I got
potted meat, deviled ham, all that stuff.
Everything full of all sorts of nonsense.
Anything that, Okay, I'm sorry, we got off track. What were you going to say?
My dreams the last few nights, and this I just want to share mainly. If anybody gets anything, message me. But so I was just observing, and I was working. I was like I was rounding up chakras for people to return it to them. But as I'm returning, like I'm flying, all I'm seeing is from like a bird's eye view. Yeah. But I'm going over like fields, like football fields, arenas, and everything's empty. Like there's no people anywhere. And I was just kind of like, I woke up to that with my kids' alarm to put them on the, to get them ready for school. And I'm like, what the world? And they're like, just, you're going to keep doing this. You'll figure it out. But I just want to throw that out there because, a lot of people can visualize and that's how we all work. We work together to, I say it, express that energy and somebody else might visualize it. And it was just kind of crazy because I was like, helping people get their chakras back. But it was like on the fly, like they're asking for them, and I'm like, I know where I can get it for you, and I would go retrieve it. But while I was going back to them, I was looking, and everything's empty.
Wow, and we know everything's metaphoric,
right?
Which is well, I mean, everything we receive, like the universe doesn't speak to me the way it speaks to you. Everybody gets their own
through their filter.
Yeah, I mean, but energetically. Looking at the energetics of what you're describing is full of code. So it may not be in the literal explanation. It might be in the desire and the intention and alignment of the human aspect with the higher self and the recollection and remembrance of this dream state activity.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I love the show, because you have a conversation and you never know. I mean, I'm a big believer. Everybody should just get it, put it on live, put themselves on, and just start rapping. And,
for real.
And even if you're just talking about, this is how I make my homemade soup down in Georgia. Here's 3 sticks of butter. Whatever it is, if it's honest and it's real, with no bullshit, no filters, nothing, it's got code in it. And it may not seem like you can affect people by that, but you can. And it's happening. And it's growing.
It's beautiful.
Man, you're a breath of fresh air. So how did you like Shasta real quick? Did you get to go into town?
Yes.
Into the main drag? Did you happen to run into Haruko Blue Star?
We went by and she was not open.
Oh,
I did mention, hey, I was like, she was just on Todd's show. And
she's incredible. It's incredible. I'm hoping that we're going to be going, before it's getting cold now.
Oh man, I cried like I don't even know what with those. Like I came into that fire energy of the trees, and I'm oh my gosh, I lost it. But it wasn't. It was like I felt the earth. I felt like the pain of the people, knowing that like we caused this as a collective, and I felt that like they don't know, we don't know, not everybody knows. But it's like that deep pain. But then I felt like all the animals that had to like relocate. And I pulled over side of the road. I mean, I went barefoot. I was on like broken glass side of the pavement truck thing. And I got all my crystals out, set them on the trunk, got my pendulum, and I was crying my eyes out. I'm sitting there with this tree and I'm just hugging it on the side of the road. Holy smokes. But I felt so much better, but I stayed like connected to Gaia, like deep the whole freaking time. And it was amazing. Like I cured every single thing I wanted to, and then some when I was there. Yeah. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I recommend it to anyone.
Right on. We're going to have to do this again. And maybe we'll have a little round table and get your doppelganger in here. And whoever else you would like to include in the circle of trust.
Sure.
What's that? What's that show? The Meet the Fockers or whatever it was.
You got a real quick second for me to give a blessing?
I was going to ask you if there's anything you want to do before we head out.
Yeah, I called in. I like to call in higher selves of anyone who is present and will be watching in the future, just for permission, because that's just how I roll. But all right. So I always say in the event you receive this message, you can set your own intention, by all means, free will. And I just send love and blessings from my heart to yours. It kashutora me say me tara. In the koshnon but yet the was no torosnete ekiatara. No kuarami sanikate of Hoshnotoro unishnati bashata. Yekasutoria nasayin mutorono. Sai kashnotoro pesicatiaria autorke hernieta ayena ramasani katieta bose ayeta ayesonoro masai. Nikushnokutre masik yatropoli katiara na haturo masai. Ikai uturo. Nasa anakasanamukwara. Ika unu sati shnotreantea. Ya katura masai nakatiketo pasia natatu masanata. Urea sakain shokatria mosonoriatiana. Aishno motore masia katara yeso moatia. Ya kachuno motori sikiatia morea. Yeah, katara masai na o umasa aniki shinate. Oh, thank you. Thank
My
you. Thank
God,
you.
you're like you got that Peter Pan thing going like I got, and then you'd go into light language, and you're like, that was very powerful. I've heard a lot of light language. I don't think I'm an expert, but you don't play around. That's all I got.
It's a meld. I work with groups, I think.
Yeah.
But whatever, man. Like
No, I
that
mean
was some tree energy and some other like. I just love everybody and whatever they want to bring forward to help. And the bottom of my feet are sweating right now, so that's pretty random. But anyways, all right, you take your break, dude. And I love this so much. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the table.
Go put some baby powder on your feet so they don't stink.
Yeah.
Hey, I look forward to getting together with you again. Hope we get.
Yeah, most definitely. Give Morgan my blessings, and I love her a long time and appreciate what she does.
All right, sounds good. Take
right,
care.
Bye.
Peace out, everybody. We'll be back in
Bye, guys.
22 minutes with a new friend.